Donald Trump is more politically toxic than ever before, and I am not just talking about his historically low approval rating. I'm talking about the lack of political capital within his own party that Donald Trump has. Republicans are waking up to the fact that our cognitively and physically declining president might also be a sinking ship politically too. And so just like the rats that they are in the GOP, they are scurrying off of that sinking vessel. And the latest is one of Donald Trump's top advisors who is quitting a project that Donald Trump has already failed at, like he has in everything else in his presidency. But maybe the biggest reason for Donald Trump's panic and the panicked post he made after this quitting was announced is because of the war in Iran, a failure that he is trying to spin. And that's where I want to start. Lawrence O'Donnell breaking down Donald Trump's attempts to spin this war as everything around him falls apart.
James Penoza writes, the meme videos suggest that war is a movie and that movies are war, and so are sports and games, that American culture's whole run of fireballs, smackdowns, and shoot-'em-ups is of one piece with the administration's militainment aesthetic. It used to be only strident detractors of pop culture who argued that macho entertainments were priming their audiences for war. Now that's simply the implicit position of the White House. The criticism that Donald Trump and the incompetents working for him in the White House have encountered since putting out these videos has only encouraged them to put out more of them, because that's the way their perversity works. They must be surprised that their propaganda videos, the stupidest ones in history, have not won them support for their war. No American war has ever faced as much opposition in this country as Donald Trump's war has faced in the first weeks of this war. And wars do not get more popular in America as they continue. And once again, Donald Trump said something that no other president has ever said about war. Quote, anytime I want it to end, it will end. That apparently means it will end when gasoline prices have gone too high for too long, or the stock market has gone too low for too long. But it will not end on the terms Donald Trump originally demanded, unconditional surrender. Today, the new 56-year-old Ayatollah Khomeini issued a written statement saying, every member of the nation who is martyred by the enemy constitutes a separate case in the file of revenge. Since Donald Trump said there was nothing to be afraid of in the Strait of Hormuz, the New York Times reports, at least 16 oil tankers, cargo, and other commercial ships have been attacked in the Persian Gulf since the U.S.-Israeli war against Iran began nearly 2 weeks ago. Iran has claimed responsibility for several of the attacks. Donald Trump continues to prove to the world that he will tell any lie as he continues to insult the intelligence of his supporters with statements like this.
The Straits are in great shape. We've knocked out all of their boats. They have some missiles, but not very many. I think we're in very good shape.
The International Energy Agency said the war in the Middle East is creating the largest supply disruption in the history of the global oil market. That's Donald Trump's definition of great shape. Imagine being a Trump voter tonight and watching him say that and knowing that he's saying that in the belief that you, the Trump voter, will be stupid enough to believe him.
I wanted to start there because Lawrence is so right that Donald Trump thinks his voters are stupid. And if you are a Republican watching right now and you voted for Donald Trump, come here, because I want to let you in on a little secret. Are you ready for this? You are stupid. You're stupid. Republicans are cattle. They listen to Donald Trump jingle his metaphorical keys with whatever racist red meat he slooshes out to the base in a rambling speech, which they probably don't pay much attention to, because if they listened to the words that he said, they would realize how stupid he is as well. But what Republicans are able to do is read prices, just like the rest of us, groceries, gas, whatever it might be. all exploding because of Donald Trump. And so the people around him right now see that their opportunity to extort this presidency for everything that it's worth might be drying up, and it might be time to go. And then it includes at a project that Donald Trump has shut down, the Kennedy Center. Exclusive. Grinnell expected to shift out of Kennedy Center leadership on Monday. Rick Grinnell plans to transition out of his role as president of the 54-year-old Kennedy Center on Monday as the nation's premier performing arts venue finalizes plans for a 2-year shutdown for renovation, Axios has learned. In just hours before this announcement, probably knowing that it was coming and trying to chum the waters a little bit, Donald Trump posted on Truth Social 2 renderings of the new, highly improved Trump Kennedy Center, pretending everything's all right. Trump also wrote on Truth Social, whether in a fit of rage or a panic attack, Maggot Hagerman. That's a great nickname there. Just another sleazebag, quite frankly, for the failing New York Times insist on writing fake stories about me. And even though she knows and understands that the exact opposite of everything she says is usually the truth, in any event, I'm thinking of adding maggot and some of her associates into my Florida-based lawsuit against the New York Times, which very happily seems to be proceeding nicely. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President DJT. So Donald Trump is trying to do a little bit of damage control. He is saying that everything's so great at the Kennedy Center. Look at these AI images. Nothing really reassures a construction project like fake photos. Donald Trump says, I know you people don't believe me when I'm asking for millions and maybe even billions of more dollars to invest in a project that didn't need to happen in the first place. But if you are concerned about its progress, look at the fake photos. People are quitting, people are leaving. I had to shut it down because it was a national embarrassment that bore my name, much like all the other national embarrassments do. But fake photos on Truth Social, isn't that reassuring? And the answer is no. Republicans are leaving the House and the Senate. They're leaving the Trump administration. They're leaving jobs across D.C., knowing that it's all kind of falling apart. And what is so important for me in that regard is that these people clearly want out before something happens. And to me, that something is MAGA infighting that is going to come. Now, later today, I'm going to be making a video about how J.D. Vance has kind of been knifing Donald Trump around his war in Iran, and there is a lot more fighting to come. Vance was also taking shots at Kristi Noem, who has also been taking shots at Donald Trump, who has also been protecting her little boy toy, Corey Lewandowski, who has also been leaking about the criminality of this administration. I could also, till I'm blue in the face. But that is what is coming. These people are leaving because they understand fights are about to break out. And if they want to protect themselves for a potential next administration or a next job, then they don't want to leave on terms so bad that they become the ambassador to the shield of the Americas like Kristi Noem, right? They don't want that type of embarrassment. And that is what Donald Trump is facing down right now. Republicans leaving him in mass as he tries to preserve a legacy because, believe you me, that is exactly what Donald Trump was trying to do with the Trump Kennedy Center. The only part of that I enjoyed is that memorial was also on the building. And I like thinking, not that I want Donald Trump to be honored anywhere in any way, but the words memorial and Trump memorial, doesn't sound terrible these days. The man tried to cement his own legacy after it was already written in stone by adding more marble to anything that he could find. Ballroom, oh, do some marble, it'll be a great ballroom, and that's what people will remember me for. They won't. Well, put my name on the Kennedy Center and we'll say that it's actually Trump, and then they'll love me, and then they didn't. So much so that the shows were canceled. The audiences didn't go. You shut down the building. Well, quite frankly, we'll build in an arch, the Arch Day Trump, and you're not gonna, because Congress is gonna shut it down. You got a couple more months. And you've already said, Donald, that you're not letting anything pass except the SAVE Act. So how are they going to get the money through for your arch? I am sure that a Democratic Congress is not going to let it happen. So Donald Trump, through the first 2 years of his administration, thinking that things had changed fundamentally in this country, that people would like him, they'd quite frankly love him. They'd love me so much. They'd love me. They didn't. And Donald Trump is waking up to that fact and waking up to what is coming for the rest of his administration. More people quitting, more people fleeing, and some actual accountability. There's no amount of putting your name on a building that will be torn down or your name taken off that can save you from that. And the project of getting more powerful men to have their names taken off buildings and scholarships and everything else will be the undertaking of the rest of this administration. And I think you know what I'm talking about. The Epstein files, which Ro Khanna has new updates for us on, and it's where I want to close. Because if there's another thing causing Donald Trump panic, it's the fucking Epstein files.
Well, first we learned that Les Wexner and Leon Black allegedly had huge financial ties with Epstein. Now, look, Leon Black still has buildings named after him at Dartmouth. Both of these men need to be held accountable. And we also got the names of Rothschilds and two other powerful individuals who Comer is going to call. I directly asked Khan whether the woman who has accused Donald Trump of rape when she was 13, whether she was paid a settlement by the Epstein estate. And he first said yes, she was. And I was very clear what I was asking. 4 hours later, he backtracked and said, no, he was talking about another woman. So we also need clarification of why he changed his testimony. And I'm looking forward to that transcript coming out.
This is what Donald Trump has to look forward to for the rest of his term. He thought it could be stealing and using the power of the presidency to enrich himself, building weird structures to put his name on. But no, it's going to be sitting for Epstein depositions, having himself and his cabinet impeached, and real accountability. That is what is coming next. And so we got to put foot on the gas, and we will continue to cover it and call it all out on this show. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video. If you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. Keep on fighting, y'all. Don't let them silence you. And until next time, I'll see you soon.